When the 77th Infantry Division landed at Leyte, they weren't walking into a battle. They were walking into a storm of fire that would become one of the bloodiest rampages in the Pacific. The Japanese had dug in, determined to hold the Philippines at any cost. And the men of the 77th, they were about to show why Marines had nicknamed them the Old Bastards. The Leyte campaign was supposed to be a turning point. MacArthur had made his famous promise, "I shall return." And now it was time to make good on it. The Philippines were critical. Whoever controlled them controlled the supply lines of the Pacific. The Japanese knew it. The Americans knew it. And that meant every hill, every ridge, every village would be fought over, like it was the last piece of earth on the planet. For the 77th, it was a trial by fire. The Old Bastards had already made a name for themselves on Guam, but Leyte was different. The terrain was a nightmare-dense jungle, mud that swallowed vehicles whole, and ridges crawling with enemy positions. Japanese defenders had honeycombed the ground with tunnels and caves. Bunkers camouflaged so well they seemed to appear from nowhere. And yet, when the order came down, the 77th didn't hesitate. They stormed the ridges, kicking off a brutal push that became less about maneuvering and more about survival. Every advance was answered with machine gun fire. Every hilltop taken was paid for in blood. But the Old Bastards kept going, grinding through the jungle like a human bulldozer. The Japanese responded with ferocity. Banzai charges slammed into American lines, screaming soldiers with bayonets fixed, willing to die just to take one more American with them. Normally, these charges broke units apart, sowed chaos, but the 77th stood their ground. In one engagement, waves of Japanese fighters hurled themselves at the Old Bastards, and by dawn, hundreds of enemy bodies carpeted the field, while the 77th still held the line. There's a reason Marines respected these guys. In one after-action report, a commander wrote that the 77th fought with the stubbornness of veterans and the ferocity of men with something to prove. That combination made them unstoppable. Now pause for a second and put yourself there. You've been up for 36 hours, soaked in mud, running low on ammo, hearing the screams of men charging straight at you in the dark. Do you break, or do you dig your heels in like the 77th and say, "Not one step back"? I want you to drop your answer in the comments, because that's the kind of question that shows what real grit looks like. As Leyte wore on, the Old Bastards became masters of close-quarters combat. They flushed Japanese soldiers from caves with grenades, stormed bunkers with bayonets, and pushed through villages where every hut could hide an ambush. Casualties mounted on both sides, but the 77th's kill ratio was staggering. For every Old Bastard lost, dozens of Japanese soldiers were taken out. What made their fight at Leyte infamous wasn't just the numbers, it was the relentlessness. Other divisions rotated, regrouped, fell back for resupply. The 77th just kept moving. One captured Japanese officer described them as demons in the jungle, a force that couldn't be stopped. And when the battle finally ground to a halt, the Old Bastards had carved their reputation in blood. Leyte became the campaign where the 77th Infantry proved they weren't just tough, they were terrifying. For MacArthur, Leyte meant his promise was fulfilled. For the Japanese, it marked the beginning of the end in the Philippines. And for the 77th, it was the moment they became legend. They weren't the green replacements from Guam anymore. They were the Old Bastards of Leyte, the hammer that smashed one of Japan's last strongholds. Their rampage didn't just clear a path through the jungle, it cleared a path to victory in the Pacific. And it cemented a reputation that made even hardened Marines nod with respect.